Hi everybody, it's Brian for GadgetUnit.com, and today it's time for episode 42 of my question and answer series. So going all the way to the bottom like usual, slowly so you can skim through some of the comments. Starting with FRXKR02, I also use Tweetbot, but my question is, if you double tap on your profile tab, it takes you to this thing called Favestar. What is this, and can I remove it? I've never fully looked into what Favestar is, but you can't remove it. Just don't double tap on the profile tab button and it shouldn't bother you anymore. From Radcell8, your comment on Windows Phone 8 not being competitive was kind of mean. LOL, whatever. It was kind of mean, but I mean, it's kind of true as well. I mean, Windows Phone, it's just slowly taking off. It's got to be the slowest mobile OS launch or sort of advancement, I guess you could say, because there are just so few apps being added to it daily to where it's just not able to be competitive with iOS or Android. I honestly think that BlackBerry's Z10 OS is going to be more competitive than Windows Phone 8. So, also from Radcell8, you know what's funny? My old first generation iPhone is way faster than my fourth generation iPod Touch. Sure, iOS 7 is more resource intensive than 3.1.3, but still, if my iPod is going to get slow as hell because of an update, iOS 5 and above, Apple should just not release it to my device. I don't know, because I had an iPhone 2G on 3.1.3 at one point, and I had my iPhone 4 jailbroken on iOS, I think 5 it was. I think I did a comparison video of the two on one of my old channels, but I did remember it being pretty darn slow. But I mean, they do this to make you want to go ahead and buy one of their faster products. So something in me thinks that they make it slow on purpose. Anyway, from FRXKR02, again, why do you feel you need to jailbreak your device? Well, jailbreaking just lets you customize it to the way you want it to be and not the way Apple wants it to be. If you want to change what the icon looks like, you're free to do so. If you want to install something to allow you to reply to text messages from any application without actually leaving it, then you're also free to do so once you jailbreak. So there are just so many reasons to jailbreak. It would just take forever to go through that in a single video. From Sid Harthner, Windows 8 has a bug where the cursor disappears and stops working. Is there any fix for it? I've never experienced this bug. To me, it's just a simple software issue, it seems like. So what I would do in that case is to just do a clean installation of Windows 8 and go from there, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. Also, make sure that you have the latest Windows updates installed because Microsoft releases updates quite often. From Computer Kid 1, iPod or Samsung equivalent, and by iPod I mean the iPod Touch. So here's the thing though, when it comes to media players that I usually tell people, if you aren't able to access a smartphone, then definitely pick up probably an iPod Touch. The app and accessory ecosystem with the iPod Touch is just far beyond anything else from its competitors. I think Samsung's equivalent is called the Galaxy Player, and those just seem a little cheap and kind of ghetto. So in this case, I would recommend getting something quality made with apps that you know you're going to like. Of course, you could jailbreak it and customize it to however you'd like. Honestly, I think the iPod Touch is the slickest looking media player. It's also the nicest to hold in the hand. So I would just go ahead and save up a little more money if you need to and get the iPod Touch. From Mario Menakami, would a Chromebook Pixel be worth the money if an Ubuntu can be installed? Nothing ever will make the Chromebook Pixel worth its price that Google wants. There's no denying it's overpriced in every possible way. The only thing that might make it expensive is its high-resolution display, the 3:2 aspect ratio one at that. So, frankly, there's no reason for it to be that much money at all. The design, to me, is a bit unattractive compared to many Ultrabooks that we have nowadays, such as the MacBook Air or one of ASUS's ZenBooks. Yes, you can install Ubuntu or Windows for that matter, because it just uses standard x86 hardware, just a regular old Intel Core i5 CPU, so there's technically no reason why you shouldn't be able to. But you only have 32 gigs of SSD storage, so you'll probably run out of space fairly quickly unless you use external storage. And it doesn't even have USB 3.0, it just has a couple of USB 2.0 ports, and that's old technology nowadays. From the brand Tech, is there a tweak where I can make my music fade out and fade into the next song on my 5th generation iPod Touch? I googled and YouTube searched it and couldn't find anything. You are referring to crossfading, which iTunes does very well. On the desktop version of iTunes I'm talking about. And this is probably the feature I've been wanting for years from iOS. I've said this on Twitter a number of times actually, and I want crossfading inside of the music player. There are App Store apps that can do this, but they're just sort of gimmicky, not very programmed very well, so I tend to stay away from those. But I don't really see any reason why they haven't included this feature inside of iPhone OS yet, so hopefully with iOS 7 they do. But to answer your question, there is nothing that I can think of that appropriately does crossfading. From Samsung Reviewer, when the S4 comes out, would you consider getting it? Definitely. I've said this so much over the past several months, and I'm basically tired of iOS. I wanted to get something different. I don't know if I could use something else as my primary daily device, but I would definitely like to give the Galaxy S4 a good run, which I will do because I will be getting a review unit probably a little bit later than I would like, but I will be getting one to go ahead and try out for a while. But yeah, I would definitely consider getting it if it's once I get the review unit and I do like it, and if I go ahead and decide that that's the phone I want, I could always sell my phone. I could get easily at least $500 from it, including a bunch of accessories that I have. From Jared71, do you know how to remove Trojans, viruses, etc.? I've never experienced any sort of virus or Trojan infection, but I imagine that if I did, I would either reinstall the operating system from scratch, back up whatever I can, or I would try and get some antivirus software. Probably Norton comes to mind first, so I guess you could go ahead and give that a try to remove whatever issues that you might be having. From Jack Dobble2, a new person, have you considered the new YouTube one channel layout? I have not. I think it's absolutely ridiculous how they have it. There's just so much stuff scattered around that it's hard to find something specific, unless of course you take the time to go ahead and learn the new interface. But I like the old one much better. It's just simpler, it's cleaner, it's easier to find exactly what you're looking for, so I will definitely not switch to the new layout anytime soon. Of course, one of these days, they'll probably just force everybody to switch to it, in which case I will be very mad, even madder than I already am at Google, because if you guys haven't noticed, I don't like Google for AdSense and some of their YouTube policies. But anyway, from XX, I'm so boss XX, would you be able to do a comparison video for Byte SMS and Messages Plus, because Messages Plus doesn't have a free trial that I could test before I actually buy the tweak? The thing about this is that Byte SMS and Messages Plus are actually two completely different things. Messages Plus is just a quick reply and quick compose interface. Byte SMS is actually its own standalone app with its own quick reply and quick compose interface. So Messages Plus, all it lets you do is tap the reply button to bring up the Messages reply interface, or you could use an activator method to go ahead and bring up the compose interface from anywhere you are. And they're just really two very different things. They can do some similar things, but Byte SMS is actually far more advanced than Messages Plus. From Gadget Gabble, what camera do you use for your videos? I use the Nikon Coolpix P100. I've used it for almost 3 years, I think, something like that, and it's served me well. If I actually made money from my YouTube videos and my website, I would probably have invested in a DSLR by now, but that's not the case, so this camera will have to do for a while longer. From XX, I'm so boss XX again. I built the PC that you made on the Tech Era channel and it runs great, thank you so much, but sometimes when I turn it on, my computer says that it is overclocked too high and it forces me to restart. The issue here is that my computer isn't even overclocked. Is there any way I can fix this issue? I even tried to reduce the CPU speeds, but I still get the message. The one thing I used different was a power supply. It was still Rosewheel, but it was 750 watt instead of 500 watt. Can you help me? Are you using the latest BIOS? Because if you are using the same motherboard as me, the Z68A GD80 by MSI, then updating to the latest BIOS should help you. If that doesn't help, then I think that your CPU might have some issues. that's just the first thing that comes to my mind. You might want to ask some more experienced people, probably from a website like overclock.com, or maybe it's overclock.net, I don't remember, but I would definitely go ahead and make sure you are on the latest BIOS. Lastly, from the same person, do you think that a privacy screen protector would be better than an anti-glare screen shield? Also, which of these two reduce the quality of the display the most from your experience? Well, I think that anti-glare will reduce the quality the most because it just has to sort of redo the way light hits the display, so it has to reduce the quality of it, whereas the privacy screen protectors, it's more of a darkened layer or a darkened film, I think. So in regards to one protector being better than another, I'm not too sure exactly what you're trying to look for, because they're both two completely different products. So I don't know if you want something that reduces fingerprints and scratches and glare, in which case the anti-glare would obviously be the way to go, or are you looking for something that allows only you to see what you are looking at and not anybody else, which would be where the privacy screen protector would be worth it. But I don't know. I'm still a huge fan of anti-glare screen protectors, and I probably always will. And that's it with episode 42 of the Q&A. It's a bit longer this time, but we got some good questions this time, and I think I gave some decent answers as well. So if you have any questions that you would like me to try and answer, go ahead and leave those down below in the comments area, and I'll go ahead and answer that on the next video. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you all very soon.